Hey everybody, welcome to, of course, a new edition of Boxies. I'm your host, Frank Holder, with comedians known as Talent and Fig, and I don't know what happened there, but, these things happen. Sometimes there's technical difficulties. I don't know what happened. Anyway, as I always say every day, Fig and Talent have been in comedy game for a long time, man. They've been in comedy since Cadillac went back on four backs. Isn't that what they say?
What?
What's the saying? What's the saying? It's some song. They go back on four backs. I don't know, man. I don't know. You guys have been in the comedy game since, let's see, films, film festivals, TV shows, commercials, toured the world, did troupe tours overseas, everything, man. Y'all seen everything in comedy. You know what I mean, y'all? And now y'all on a comedy talk show. So that's a great thing. It's a great thing. How you guys doing today?
I'm good, man. It is a great thing, man. The weather's changing up, Frank. I go as the weather go. So it's getting warmer, so I get warmer. You know what I mean? 85 tomorrow.
Really? In New York?
Yep.
Wow.
It's gonna be on fire, baby.
Right up in Boston right now.
It's sunburn season.
See how I got this sweater on? It's freezing up here. That's just how it is. Let's get ready to get the show started, y'all. Normally, we always have a COVID report, and today's COVID report is Jose Altuve from the Houston Astros came back last night from COVID. He had 3 hits for the Houston Astros. They beat the Seattle Mariners. And Wimbledon has decided that they're going to move forward with the event. As right now it's canceled. As last week it was canceled, but they're going to move forward. And here's the caveat. They're going to have Talent 25% of people in the audience because they feel that now it's time for Wimbledon to happen. Do you agree, disagree? You like it?
Listen, man, I got to be honest with you. You've been on the road the last 2 weeks, bro. The world is opening up. And it's almost like one of those things with or without you. So I understand in the world of sports, I can't be mad at them, bro. They're going to open up. They're going to open up. I don't disagree. I'm always worrisome because I'm just like that. I'm just like always worried about people's health and everything. People understand something. All these things opening up don't mean COVID went away. It just means that the world is forcing us to adapt and maneuver while it's still out here.
Right. Honestly, COVID is going to be like the flu, if you ask me, a year from now. You got to get your shots and keep it moving. You have to get your shots every year, and that's how people are acting. Fig, Wimbledon is opening up in June. What's your thoughts?
Well, 25% is not bad. I mean, Wimbledon, if I remember correctly, it's an outdoor event. It's outdoor. I think they play on grass during Wimbledon. So 25% of the people in the stands outdoors shouldn't be that bad. It is what it is. They're forcing people to go into what they call herd immunity. It is what it is, man. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah,
but
actually,
like you said, it ain't over.
Yeah, they should be. In other news, other headlines right now for this morning, Shohei Ohtani, the baseball pitcher for the A's, for the Angels. But you know what? I saw something this morning saying he's being compared to Babe Ruth because now he's the only pitcher since Babe Ruth who's been getting hits, a lot of hits, and he's getting a lot of strikeouts like Babe Ruth did. You know what I mean? Now, I'm going to ask you, Talent, how do you think the Japanese people are feeling that they are literally taking American culture and tuning it on his head and having a Japanese pitcher being compared to Babe Ruth? I haven't heard nobody be compared to Babe Ruth in my entire lifetime. I've never heard that. But right now, that's where the comparisons are coming at because this boy's hitting and pitching. You know what I mean?
This ain't new for Japanese people. They stole the whole Run DMC hip hop culture. So this is being revisited in baseball. No, but Japan, they love a lot of our culture. Obviously they love baseball. They love our music. They love hip hop, the fashion, and all that. So I just think it's another one of those things in this era that they're getting to celebrate. I'm not mad at them. I mean, people, let's face it, man. I know we're kind of jaded because we live in America and it's just home or America to us. But outside of America, people emulate us, everything we do. And this is just another level of that in baseball. So now you got the Godzilla Babe Ruth, John.
All right, Fig, get that.
Yeah, man, it's crazy, man. This guy played. I mean, baseball season is. We're not even a quarter of the way through baseball season, and they already comparing this dude whose career was just considered like one of the greatest baseball players that ever lived, man. Which is kind of crazy. I mean, I'd like to. I always am the wait and see kind of guy. Like, I'd like to see what this guy does. Maybe let's give him 5 years in to see if he's on the same trajectory as Babe Ruth. You know what I mean? It's just kind. It's just like a little too much too soon for me. But like Talon said, man, you know, other countries love our culture to the point where I heard this morning, I was looking at something on YouTube where the Japanese are making lifelike female robots.
Yeah, that's possible.
That's not what they love. Yeah.
Here's the difference. Here's the thing. I think people are trying to generate excitement to baseball. That's number one. Number two, they're comparing him to Babe Ruth at the same amount of at-bats and the same amount of pitches. I think they're doing that. But again, like I said, I think they're trying to compare him just to get excitement back to baseball because it is kind of exciting when you have this young kid who's coming out on fire doing this stuff.
Yeah, that's cool and everything. But Fig, so what do we use these lifelike ladies for?
Oh, see, that's why I avoided that. So I skipped that.
Just asking, man, for a friend.
Yeah.
All right, let me go on other news. Other headline news is on sad news report. Geno Hayes, the linebacker of Tampa Bay, he passed away. He was only 33 years old.
Oh,
he had liver disease. When you hear about that, I mean, I'm sure that's not good news for anywhere. But to be such a young dude, talent,
brother. You know, those are. I don't know what I feel worse about. When people die of these kind of ailments, whether the kidney or the liver or the lungs, like the heart, like I don't know if that or accidental things affect me more. I think that, and especially when you look at how young, you know, it's devastating, bro. Like I love sports like the next guy, and a lot of this is easy to report and joke about, but when we have to report these stories, I'm always devastated, man. All I could do is like sulk and shake my head and just try to wrap my mind around that family right now.
Right.
You know, condolences out to that family. It's devastating. It's so whack.
Right. Fig, your thoughts?
Man, I'm 100% with Tyler on this one, man. To me it's always extremely tragic when somebody is snuffed out so young. You know what I mean? By for any reason whatsoever, illness, you know, tragic accident, horrific event. 33 years old is pretty much in the beginning, in the prime of your life, and you know, to exit out of here so young is just tragic. And like Talon said, also echoing condolences to his family and his friends. You know, because it's always sad. You know, you hate to hear that.
Right. In other news, I got to go down these headline lists. There is a lawsuit that's hitting LSU from 7 former athletes, 3 of them are tennis players. The lawsuit is claiming that the LSU covered up sexual harassment allegations, rape charges, and everything else. So the lawsuit now is a class action lawsuit against LSU. It looks like they're trying to go after $300 to $500 million in this this lawsuit. And being that there's been some rape that's been charged, people have been charged with rape and everything else, and LSU supposedly has covered it up. This looks like it's going to probably be one of the largest class action sexual harassment lawsuits ever to go against a college right now from the reports I'm reading. Talon, when you hear about that, it does tells me anyway that these colleges have a lot of power to hold out a sexual harassment claim, lawsuit, and rape charges out of the news. That's the first thing that jumped off the page to me. The second thing jumped off the table to me is some of these people who suppressed some of this news should be held up against charges.
Yes,
that's just my thought.
Yes.
You know, what do you think, Talon?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, because in any other criminal court, you know, people who aid and abet, you know what I mean, or become an accomplice or complicit, you're part of that crime. Right. You know, so once we find out, okay, well, wow, this was held out for X amount of time. Okay, well, how was it held out? All you do is go to the top and it trickles down. Right. You go, okay, this is the person who wanted it held out. He called boom, boom, boom. They did boom, boom, boom. And these people, and just like you said, I agree. As you get those names from that totem pole and down that itemized list, all of you people were complicit. You know, this is a big deal, bro. I mean, even if you come out of sports, you look and say like what like an R. Kelly's going through, they're trying to find names in that as well who are connected because you guys knew for a certain amount of time,
right,
and allowed it to go on. So I agree with you. Hit them too.
Right. And the worst part of it looks like it is that some of the women who filed the charges and everything else were told to be quiet and not continue on with their charges and everything else. Fig, when you hear about this, again, LSU covering up these sexual harassment and these rape charges and everything else, and some of these people, I'm still trying to find out, have been charged officially with rape and everything else, and other, especially from other, other college players and everything else, because they didn't want the word to get out. This has got to be one of the most horrific cases that you don't see it. Like, look at it right now, Fig. I ain't seen it a lot on ESPN. I ain't seen it a lot on Fox. I ain't hearing nowhere. There's some big, powerful players at play with this. What you think, Vic?
You're right. Both of you are absolutely right. But here's the thing. This is what a lot of people don't realize when you start talking about these facilities, these organizations, an organization like LSU, like the thing that happened back with Sandusky in Penn State. In some of these towns, or I would say most towns, the college is the industry of that town. It is what makes that town and that particular area thrive. That's where everybody works. You know what I mean? That's where people get that money. If that if that facility is removed from that town, the town pretty much goes under. You know what I mean? So that's a college town. LSU, Louisiana State University. I mean, it's big. It's like the biggest thing there. So just like Penn State was one of the biggest organizations in Pennsylvania, if you have a big scandal against this particular industry and the industry for whatever reason fails or has to be taken away, the town itself dies. So that's why they try and cover things up and keep it under the wraps because they don't want the money to go away. You know what I always say in America, if you follow the money, you will always find a reason why certain things go on. So not that I'm for it, but I sort of understand why you would try and keep things under wraps.
Yeah, but you know what? Here's the thing. You know what? It's really stupid for them to do that because at the end of the day, you charge the people who are involved. You charge the other people who are involved, but the organization will still be there. People will still love LSU. People will still come and watch LSU. I don't care what charges you have against who. The corporation or the college will put and say, hey, that's coach so-and-so and that's player so-and-so. That's not, yes, they play for LSU, but that's not our brand. Push them out and get new people in. But when you hold it down, it hurts the brand name. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
But that's true. But think about this. Think about if a scandal like that comes out, right? And now you got these big collegiate athletes that they have choices of what school to go to. Do you want to go to LSU? Do you want to go to Penn State? Or do you want to go here? Do you want to go to Duke? Do you want to go to North Carolina? Do you want to go here? You're going there. LSU has a scandal. The chances of you getting recruits to go to LSU for a year or two, or maybe 3, maybe even 5 years, you got a stain on that particular university. So so the recruits said, well, no, I'm not going to LSU because they got a big scandal going on, which ultimately hurts the program.
Yeah, for at least 4 to 6 years because people all high school are not going to want to go there. Yeah, that's
and especially like I have daughters, Frank, talent. You know what I mean? You want your daughter going to LSU after you hear something like this?
Absolutely not.
Not at all. And parents feel that way.
Talent. Last word. You got something you want to say on that?
I mean, one thing that he hit the nail on the head is that these towns and these universities, the university is the breadwinner of the town. You take away the university, the town just dissipates. Penn State was that. If you ever been out to Penn State, you knew that whole area was built around the university. So look how long that went on. What kept it suppressed and all that. And once it opened, that can opened up. The steamrolling and all the names and all the years and all the, the cases that came from that, the Sandusky's down. This is a prime example of what we're talking about with LSU.
You know what? I'll say this. I think Penn State is still suffering from that Sandusky thing. I think they're still suffering from that. All right, let's keep moving. In other hot topic news, because I always got some line items. 2 things with LeBron James. LeBron James is in the news right now. The first thing is he's in the news because he had a rookie card that sold for $5.2 million, which blew me away. I was like, whoa, $5.2 million. The other thing is There was a video that was all on social media. I got to thank my man Amir for sending me this because I didn't see this. Is that there was a police officer? His name was Nate Sylvester. He is mocking LeBron James with the "You're next." Remember last week, LeBron James, after the big trial and everything else, LeBron James went and posted, because the same day there was a video that was released of a young teenager girl who was about to stab another girl and everything else, and the police officer came and shot her. And LeBron didn't know too much about it at the time, but he just said that, hey, you're next, and he took the tweet down. Because he took the tweet down, people have been making fun of him. Talent, I'm going to throw it to you first and say, what are your thoughts when you hear that now there's a police officer who's mocking LeBron James and pretending to pull over LeBron James, pretending to say, hey, literally conversing with LeBron James? Here's the interesting part. It's literally going around social media like wildfire. There are people, you find out how many people are really against LeBron James and the social movement when you see how many people are literally moving that video on and keeping it alive. You know what I mean? Like they're.
Well, it's like this, Frank. It's like, President Trump lost the election, but he still got 74 million votes.
Right.
LeBron has 124 million followers on the gram or on Twitter, and you got still that many people that are gonna hate on him. We joke around and we go against LeBron in the basketball sense, but as a man, none of us can deny his greatness as a man and his input and all the work he's putting in for his community and his people. So in that essence, we know he's great. But out there in cyber world, if you got 124 million people just following you, I tell people this all the time, doesn't mean that 124 people like you. They could be following you for different reasons. There are people who follow each other all day waiting for you to slip up or say something wrong or argue with you or go against. I watch that on Twitter all day, Twitter fights all day. And these people who are arguing and hating each other, they're following each other so that they can see what each other is saying about each other. When LeBron put that out there, first of all, I said this. I said I wouldn't have taken it down as quick as he did because I didn't feel he had any wrong to it. You got different opinions of how that thing played out. And that was his opinion that, okay, we want to see accountability. That's what he said. Hashtag accountability. He didn't say anything else. They tried to twist his words and say that he was calling for violence.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever this person is who's taking it and putting a spin on it, it's calling themselves teaching him this lesson by making it go viral. And so he could eat his words and it's always in your face and all that. If I'm LeBron or whatever the case may be, I'm not even worried about this, man. When you're an icon and you're big in this world, people are gonna make fun of you. The Jordan cry meme don't go away.
Mm-hmm.
They wait for the next thing to apply it to. And this is LeBron. People feel like, oh, you talk too quick. You didn't know all the details, blah, blah, blah. So we're gonna keep reminding you, you screwed up. LeBron screwed up. LeBron screwed up. So I'm not as surprised as how much hate, Frank. Like I said, the president got 74 million votes, but it was even more millions of votes that he lost by.
You know what, Talent? I agree with everything you just said. I say, and I'll even add this. LeBron James did say accountability and stuff, but to him, when he took it down, because he didn't know all of the facts and everything else, when he found out the girl was about to stab the other girl, he took it down because as he said, he didn't want to incite hate either. He wasn't trying to be hateful. He was his whole point was accountability. People need to be held accountable for what they do. When he found out the girl had a knife in her hand, he took it down because he's not trying to, like Fake. He's not trying to create waves. He's trying to solve stuff. You know what I mean? Right. What do you think, Fake?
I think LeBron James is a threat to the system and the powers to be, the same way Colin Kaepernick was, the same way Muhammad Ali was, the same way Martin Luther King, Malcolm. Anybody who tries to bring attention to equality is a threat. Anything that brings change to a system that perpetuates holding people down is a threat to the people who are in power or who are in charge. That's what LeBron James does outside of the basketball arena, and people are threatened by that. So they want to use him as a target the same way they did Colin Kaepernick, Muhammad Ali, and many others. And they're using this one little thing and try and blow it up because it wasn't that big a deal. That's what justice is. Justice is equality. And to say accountability is justice. Accountability is justice. That's all that people of color have been asking for when it comes to police brutality. Is just accountability. It has nothing to do with the fact that police kill people or anything like that. We just want to say, if you do it unjustly, we just want you to be brought to justice through the system, just like everybody else. We just do not want our police department to be above the law. That's it. It's just plain and simple. And that's all accountability means. It's just be accountable for your actions. Period.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with violence.
In other news, going to keep the show moving on. In other headline news, I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to see this. And this is, to me, this falls under the crazy category. Kanye West put up his sneakers for $1.8 million and was able to sell them. Now, we had a conversation last week about sneakers and of course, movement when it started with Kobe and everything, and everything else. When you hear about, I'm going to throw my other question out to you guys in a second, but my first question to you, Talent, is, first of all, do you think the Kanye West sneakers should have even sold for $1.8 million? And what's your thoughts about when you hear sneakers sell for $1.8 million? What you think, Talent?
No, I he's laughing. No, I don't think it should. I think somebody's crazy out of their brain to buy a sneaker for $1.8 million, period. I like the new video that if you go on Versus, Redman got a video up where he go in the store and steals the sneakers. He take them out and he's like, "Oh, these are dope. How much?" And he asks them 2 times, "How much?" "Okay, cool," and runs out the store. That would be me, because 1.8 million is ludicrous. But we live in this kind of world, Frank. We live in a world where, and unfortunately, we talked about like the whole college thing and rape accusation. We live in a world where you could say somebody could get famous off a big rape trial, and you could take the underwear and put them on auction, and some weirdo will spend buku dollars just to have them. Oh, the Lewinsky's dress, or such and such. We live in that world. I think it's stupid. I think it's asinine and ludicrous that somebody would spend 1.8. That's my thing.
I thought so. Fig.
No, in fact, the Talent said that her ass was a 9. I would have given her a 10 myself. Anyway, $1.8 million for a pair of air garbage. I mean, listen, it clearly done by somebody that has more dollars than cents. And if you want to pay $8 million, and the sneakers don't look like nothing to me, $1.8 million, I can't be mad at the fact that you're able to do that. If I could take off a pair of my sneakers and get $1.8 million, I'd be more than happy to do it. Just inbox me, and I will send you a pair of my sneakers for 1.8 million or 1 million. Let me just take the 8 off. 1 million. And by the way, I have this It's Just Comedy hand sanitizer by Talent, and I'm selling this for $3,000. You can see me on at Comedian Fig on all social media platforms. Inbox me, and I'll send this to you right away. It's an original. It's a one and only. It's made by Talent, and I will send this to you for $3,000. All I want is $3,000. Hit me up, and I'll get it in the mail to you right away. It's never even been used. It's a collector's item.
It works, people. It works.
It's Talent's wiping his hand for $3,000. All right.
Yeah, and it won't catch fire either. This one is non-flammable. It will not catch fire if you're cooking. You know what I mean? If you're frying that chicken, you can be safe by using this It's Just Comedy hand sanitizer.
All right, let me ask you this. Let me throw this to you, Talent. Let me ask you this, man. We were talking about the sneakers and stuff like that. We talked about 1.8 million. But if Kanye was to join the Kobe and LeBron James movement, do you think that these guys can come out with their own brand and forget about, because the Kanye Yeezys are coming from Adidas? Do you think if he matches up with the Kobe brand that they're trying to do themselves, do you think that could get a whole bunch of people to start putting out these sneakers independently without going through the Nikes and Adidases and the Reeboks of the world and everything else? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think the problem would automatically be the pricing. I think the pricing would automatically be a problem. So I don't see them getting together, because I think that Vanessa's direction, judging by her statement and her actions right now, I think she wants to go in a better community direction. I think Kanye is more pushing in an exclusive direction. So I don't really see them joining together, but if possible, yeah, you're onto something right there, Frank.
All right, what you think, Fig?
Hey man, listen, I'm for it. Russell had what was it?
Fat
It was
Farm?
yeah, Fat Farm, but he had Russell Athletics or
Right.
Def Jam Athletics had an athletic brand. They did their own sneakers. I think it's look, it's about time. I think it's coming. You know why? I talked before, Marbury did it. You had the big baller brand, wasn't successful. Nothing is going to be successful. Well, I shouldn't say nothing, but a lot of things are not successful the first time you put it out. But I think it's on the horizon with Vanessa Bryant stepping away from Nike. I think it's coming. I think in the future we will see athletes putting out their own brand. You don't have to make, they don't have to be $150 in order for you to make a lot of money. They just don't. They could be 100, they could be 75. You put out your own brand, that's a big markup. And all of the sneakers are pretty much made at the same factory over in those Asian countries. And
Yeah.
it doesn't cost very much to do it.
You know, I'll piggyback off what you just said and say this. If the NBA player is big enough, if he's a LeBron level, you know what I mean, a Michael Jordan level, and he comes out with his own sneaker brand, not under anybody else, I think that it can happen. Other than that, if you're a mid-tier level guy, like if you're a John Wall or something like that, it's not going to be successful. You got to be hot enough to change the culture. You know what I mean? That's what I think. And it can be done.
Zion.
Yeah.
Think about it. Zion got his own brand. I think people would buy him.
Yeah. Zion. He's saying Zion. It's got to be. You got to be hot enough. That's what the thing is. You got to be like on that level. You got to be taking over the NBA or taking over the NFL. And even though I'll even step back and say I think the NBA leads the charge when it comes to sneakers. I think everybody follows whatever the NBA players. You know what I mean? That's what I think. I got to keep the show moving on because I heard an allegation this morning. One of the dumbest allegations I've heard in a long time. So I'm gonna throw it out there. Former Boston Celtic Paul Pierce, he slammed ESPN because he said he was forced out of ESPN because he started his own cannabis company. Now, it's got to be one of the dumbest statements I've heard. He must have forgot, talent, that he had a live video of him with 8 or 10 strippers stripping while he was playing poker while he works for a Walt Disney company called ESPN. I don't know, talent. That boy's crazy.
And he got the nerve to say he was forced out.
Right, forced out.
Here's my thing. We got to keep this in mind. In corporate America, just because the cannabis business is coming around and certain states are legalizing it and recreational this and that, you still got the corporate still has their criteria and moral clauses. They may not be a corporation that wants to push weed.
Right.
So you still have a moral clause to abide by, whatever that is. Like we said, it's all owned by Disney. Like, how far is Disney going to go with weed when our brand specializes in the youth and children?
Right.
Think about that. This is not, it's not like he's working for, what's the name of the joint? The Shade Room or TMZ. This is a brand that is predominantly built off of promoting and selling to kids. Don't get me wrong. They throw us grown-ups a bone here and there. But the majority of the stuff they produce is starting from the youth up. So here you go talking about, yeah, man, they don't like my weed business. You think?
It seems like he forgot that they're a family-owned business. They're family-friendly. ESPN is family-friendly all day. They don't even, here's the thing, Fig, they don't even put up videos like when the UFC fighter got hurt over the weekend when his leg got broke. You didn't even see the replay of how his leg got broke over the weekend on ESPN again. Why? They're family-friendly. So, Fig, I'm going to throw it to you. Do you think Paul Pierce is out of his mind or what?
Yeah, Paul Pierce has made a career out of making himself a victim. It throws me back to the time where he got injured, had them wheel him out in a wheelchair, and then he came back running out onto the court. Like, this dude is so dramatic, man. It's just hilarious. He's making himself a victim. Like, dude, You put out a video of yourself smoking weed with strippers, and you working for a children's company. Pretty much, you like your affiliation is with a children's company, being the brand of Disney. And weed and cannabis, although it's gaining popularity and it's becoming legalized in a lot of states, it has not really been adopted by everyone.
Right.
It's not like alcohol yet. Like alcohol is acceptable everywhere. There's no stigmatism attached to alcohol, but there's still, to this day, a stigmatism attached to marijuana. And you're working for a children's company and you think that they're targeting you. No, Paul, you targeted you. That's right.
Yep.
You did it.
Dude, you can't, it's still new and it's still adult. And you work for a kid company, like people got their own. 5 states could come out tomorrow. We cool with cocaine. and here you are surprised that Pepsi want to fire you.
Yeah.
You know what? Paul Pierce is dramatic, like Fig said. Especially when you use the thing of him being wheelchair. He saw that happen to the New York Knicks, so he thought he could copy that, and he thought he'd be soon with
Willis Reed.
When Willis Reed did that, he was really hurt. When Paul Pierce was sitting there, he was. I was like, this dude just got to go to the bathroom. He got to go boo boo.
when it happened to Willis Reed, somebody was like, "Yo, come on back out, wrap it up tight. Will, come on back out. This is gonna be crazy." Will was like, "I hurt him. I really hurt him." They're like, "No, but trust me on this." He was like, "Man, I can't." He said, "I know you can't play on it, but just walk out." Because if you remember, he came out at the layup line. But he wasn't about to play on that joint.
Yeah.
That was all the message, like mental. But Paul Pierce, dude, it don't take a rocket scientist to say, you know what? First of all, let me go to the top, right? My bosses. Let me talk about this business I got. See how they feel about it. They'll come back to you and go, hey, man, not with us. Not right now, not televised. You know, we got Frozen 6 coming out.
Wow. Yo, Talent, that's funny. He was like, yo, I can't believe the way they hate on me at Disney, man. I mean, what's wrong with Lou? What's wrong with Lou? Lou, you know.
When he was doing that live, the girl's ass was in his face, and he's watching a ticker on ESPN that said, Paul Pierce being released. He said, move your ass. Let me see something.
Yeah, that's why I said one of the dumbest. That's one of the dumbest things you can see. Like I'm still surprised he even thought of that. The other thing I wanted to mention before we get to the regular stories is that we were talking about yesterday. Kim Mulkey, she was going to LSU after 3 titles and 21 seasons with Baylor. Last night, the word leaked out that she was sick and tired of dealing with them. She was sick and tired of dealing with Baylor from fatigue, strain, and she was sick of their antics. You know, right. As it came out because the press conference came out when she was introduced. So as you guys said yesterday, this was going to come out. Now that you hear it confirmed, what's your thoughts about Kim Mulkey?
Told you so. I feel like a big kid. Nah. Told you. It was obvious, man. Like we've been around long enough. We've all lived long enough to know when stuff is fishy, and no matter how much they pay you to, because a lot of times they pay you to be quiet. They'd be like, hey, listen, here go an NDA. I know you're going to leave. They're going to see you leave, but please don't say nothing, you know, blah, blah, blah. And you'd be like, all right. But grown-ups who got half a brain and a GED are going to know, like, wait a minute. It was hunky-dory. You talking about ending your career over there. Now you wake up Tuesday, say you're leaving. Something happened.
Yeah, especially after 21 seasons. Something definitely happened. 21 seasons, you got a couple of championships over there. Something went wrong. You did a lateral move. You did a lateral move.
Pat Ewing, at the end of Pat Ewing's career in New York, we knew something happened. When Pat came out with that ugly green Seattle thing on, you like, something happened.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was I don't know if you remember, in the wee hours of the morning, they tried the slick 14 trade that fell apart because once one person's physical, that's why you can't be slick, because it'll always cream will come out. And it fell apart, and somebody called Pat. It was like almost 2 a.m. And somebody who watching ESPN called Pat and said, "You seeing this? Turn on ESPN," and that was it.
He fit. Get that.
Yeah, man. We called it. It wasn't really a Pelican brief because, like Chandler said, we lived long enough to know we could. If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's not a rabbit. It's usually a duck. It's like, yo, man, something went wrong in that organization, man. And you know what the thing is that when you're successful in life, the one thing that you get that other people do not have is options. And because she was highly successful, she had options. She had another option. She had another organization that she could go to and be successful. And when you're like that, you don't have to put up with the powers that be. And I think a lot of people in today's society, with a lot of information that is readily available to us, it's tough to be programmed. And a lot of people are realizing and waking up and seeing that they have a lot of power as an individual, and they realize that they have options, and the control that the powers that be had before are slowly dwindling, and they don't like it.
Yeah. Let's continue on with the show because everything he just said is absolutely right. I got to jump into the NFL because the NFL draft is this week. We got to knock out some stuff. I heard this morning that the San Francisco 49ers, they like 5 different QBs, but Kyle Shanahan came out and he completely avoided. We talked about Jimmy G yesterday. He completely avoided the Jimmy G conversation. And I don't know, bro. It sounds like talent, like he gonna trade him. I'm gonna ask you, do you think Jimmy G gonna be traded before the season starts, or do you think San Francisco is gonna keep him talent? What you think?
I think he might get traded. If I had to guess and put money, I would say he's going to be traded. Unfortunately, but you said it yesterday, Frank. Like, he's become this guy due to all these injuries and not being able to play a lot of games. And one thing about the draft, what the draft always reminds the league of, and all those executives, is youth and healthiness. Unfortunately, if the draft rolls around when people are thinking about your injuries, that's a little nudge out the door. I think he's going to get traded.
All right, Fig, what you think?
Man, listen, I've been on the Jimmy G thing for a while. I know you hate it, Frank, but I honestly believe that at some point in time, Jimmy G is going to end up back in the organization that wanted him the most, the Patriots with Bill Belichick. And I think that Kyle is going in San Francisco organization is probably going to go in another direction. Maybe they'll hold him for a little while, half a season, whatever. But ultimately, I really don't believe that Jimmy G finishes this next coming NFL season in San Francisco. I think that he ends up someplace else. The one caveat that I would put out there with it is I think they would have got more for him sooner than later. Like his value has dropped some, and I think they could have got a lot more for Jimmy G had they traded him sooner.
For the record, I don't hate it at all. I just don't see Bill Belichick trading for a quarterback with injury issues, injury problems. He doesn't do that. I just didn't agree. I don't think he does that. And I don't think he will do it. Now, if this was 4 years ago, around that time when you didn't know that Tom Brady's going to win 2 more Super Bowls and all that other stuff. Yeah, then at the time, then I say he ain't going to do that. But at the end of the day, who knows? This is 1 year that Bill Belichick is doing stuff nobody knows. I ain't seen none of the stuff he's doing.
First of all, that phrase you just used is confirmation. At the end of the day,
we don't know.
When people say that, you usually your ass is out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey Frank, ain't nobody talking to you, Frank. You hear what I'm talking about, Frank? I'll tell you, Jimmy G is coming to the Patriots. All right, ain't nobody talking to you, Frank.
I would bet money he don't, but we'll see. I would bet money. We'll see. The next thing up I heard this morning, I don't know if you guys caught the news of this one. The Atlanta Falcons said that they are open to trade talks with Julio Jones. Now, I think it's a dumb move if they trade him because they have the number 4 pick. They got Matt Ryan as a QB. With the number 4 pick, they can get Kyle Pitts, one of the best tight ends who's come out of college in maybe 15 years. They would have Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, and Kyle Pitts. Now, That's just what they said. Now, they're open to talking to people, and people are already speculating that Julio Jones should go to the Ravens, the Packers, the Dolphins, or even the Bills. If you are Julio Jones, talent, do you stay with talent? Do you want to stay with Atlanta, or do you want to go to the Ravens, Packers, Dolphins, or the Bills?
It's going to be between the Packers and the Bills. If I'm Julio Jones, I would rather go to one of those teams than stay where I'm at.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I would go to the Packers or the Bills because it's sort of like taking the page out of the NBA book of super teams. This is a super talented player. And you got these two teams that are pretty put together and can rival anybody. Right now is their time. Where he's at now, it's not their time. But these two teams, I would go to one of those.
I could make an argument and say that, the Packers were one wide receiver away from winning the whole thing because they needed another wide receiver, and they were really good. You give Aaron Rodgers coming off the MVP season, Julio Jones with the other wide receiver he got, Fig, they might have been in the NFL Super Bowl and might have won the whole thing. But you never know. A whole bunch of speculations. What you think, Fig?
Man, just two things here. One is I'm never opposed to Aaron Rodgers getting another weapon. It's a scary scenario to have Aaron Rodgers have another weapon to throw to. But if I'm Julio Jones, talent said Green Bay and Buffalo, two of the coldest areas to play football. So you're going to come from Atlanta and go either to the frozen tundra or the snowy grounds of Buffalo. I don't think so. Because Julio is used to playing in warm weather. It's warm in Atlanta, man. And that cold weather and his aging body and his injuries is not going to go well together. That's not going to be a good marriage. If I had to pick somebody that's on the uptick trajectory, I might go with Baltimore, man, because they seem like they're on their way, and you give that organization another weapon like a Julio Jones. I think they could do well too. I'm not going to say that Green Bay and Buffalo is bad. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? Actually, all three of them could possibly win with another piece or two. So I guess not.
Do you think a person care more about the weather than winning?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say.
Well, if you old, listen, man. If you old and you got ailment, because Julio Jones been injured a lot, and the older you get,
the more you want to win.
But that cold weather ain't.
I disagree. I think especially football, out of all the sports, I think football is the number one sport. The older you get, you want to win the most, and you will go anywhere to get that. If I can guarantee you, pick the coldest place. I don't care if it's Minnesota or Green Bay. If I can guarantee you went to Green Bay or Minnesota and you will win, I guarantee you that. I guarantee you anybody go there.
Okay, but let me just throw this out too. It's even worse when you've been to the Super Bowl and you've been up 28-3 and you already celebrate on the
side. It's always one of those guys.
Hey, listen. All I'm telling you is maybe I'm a little older than I want to say, but if you go to a place where you got to warm it up to take a leak, I don't want to go there. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, but I think he would. He's a dog. I think he would, because that boy, he balls out whether it's cold, warm, indoor, outdoor. Julio Jones is a beast. Like I would take him on any team. Like you start out with a QB and give you Julio Jones, right. That's a good start. That's a good place to start, man. You know what I mean? All right, let's move on to the NBA. I'm gonna talk about you guys, your favorite New York Knicks, because they lost to the Phoenix Suns. And here's the thing that I don't think people are paying attention to. I said this at the beginning of the season. People are overlooking talent. People are overlooking the Phoenix Suns. They have the second best record in the league right now. Why? First of all, the Knicks lost, but the Knicks lost to the team that literally could be in the NBA Finals and that everybody's overlooking. So when you hear about the loss last night and the Phoenix Suns, what's your thoughts?
Well, going off the numbers, one of those losses that, no one likes to lose, but I didn't feel bad about the loss because of the record of the Suns right now. And to your comment, I think people are overlooking the Phoenix Suns because they're considered a foldable team. There are teams that are good all season, but are known to fold. And I think that's what people think about them. I don't necessarily believe that, but I think that's when people look at them, they deem them as one of those foldable teams. So they're like, yeah, they're good. They high up in the rankings. They're gonna go around the two, but they're gonna fold. People thought that about Denver last year, and then Denver kept scaring them each way. You know, every time you thought they were gonna fold, they didn't. And you was like, are they about to, but then they eventually, lost, in other words, folded. So I think that's why, but I don't necessarily believe what I think people believe about Phoenix. I think Phoenix is viable as hell. Nobody gets hurt. No major pieces get hurt. I think they're giving everybody a run for their money.
Look, I'm gonna throw this out there before I throw it to Fig. I'm gonna throw this out there. This could be Chris Paul's best team he's ever played on, from the old Clippers to the old to the OKC people.
I agree.
This could be his best team he's ever played on. And now we'll see how far he get to the playoffs, because that's kind of a leap to it right now. But I'm gonna throw it to you, Fig. You could sit there and say, the Knicks were the hottest team in the league. They ran into the hotter team in the league.
Yeah.
That nobody's talking about. Everybody's talking about the Knicks because Knicks is in the biggest market. They've obviously made the biggest noise. But the Phoenix Suns right now are the second best team in the league behind the Brooklyn Nets. That says a lot. What you think, Fig?
The Phoenix Suns are number 2 in the West.
And they're 2 in the league. Yeah,
we're number 2 in the league, but they're also number 2 in the West. Also, well, anyway, here's the thing. I think the Knicks were getting a lot of attention because, like myself, being one of the biggest Knicks fans around, I never saw the Knicks going this far. I didn't see them getting here. I thought the Knicks would be at this point next year. I didn't see this happening this year. And I think to me, they came out of nowhere and sort of surprised everybody doing as well as they did. Last night, or I even remember yesterday, I was a little concerned about last night because of the team that they were playing. And I was with you, Frank. I saw what the Phoenix Suns did last year in the bubble, and I would have loved to have seen them in the playoffs had they been able to make it. Because in the bubble, we know they went 8 straight, and I thought that they were climbing then. And with the addition of Chris Paul, which we all know is first ballot Hall of Fame floor general, I didn't think that the Knicks was going to get by them yesterday. Having Julius Randle having one of those games where he didn't shoot very well, which is the leading scorer of the Knicks. He only scored like 20 some points yesterday, and on this whole run, he was scoring over 30. I didn't see that happening, but Chris Paul pulled it out at the end, made some incredible shots. The thing that gave me a lot of encouragement as a Knicks fan is that they were leading a good portion of the game, and they were in the game. And to be quite honest, we were missing a lot of pieces. A couple of key pieces. We were missing one of our best shooting guard that shoots 3, and we were missing our starting center. And for them to play with a team the caliber of the Phoenix Suns gave me a lot of encouragement moving forward. But the Phoenix Suns ain't nothing to sleep on. I listen. I don't think there's nobody in the West talking about, we want the Phoenix Suns this year. No, you don't.
Let me say this. Everything you said about the Knicks, you can say about the Phoenix Suns, because nobody expected them to be in this position either. As a matter of fact, a lot of people, a lot of NBA so-called experts, they picked the Phoenix Suns to come in 8th or 9th in the playoff seeding this year if they barely made it. The Phoenix Suns are 2nd right now, and it could be 1st. The New York Knicks are being talked about because the New York Knicks haven't been in the thick of things maybe since the 90s. They haven't won everything since 73. The Suns, when was the last time the Suns, what was it, in the 80s? So, but nobody was talking. I think, honestly, you could make a great story about the Knicks, but to me, the biggest story is the Phoenix Suns, because you add one player, just one player. You don't even add a coach. You add one player. That's Chris Paul. You add him, and they are the 2nd best team in the league. That's I don't know.
Put it to you this way. I mean, maybe I didn't see this Phoenix Suns being number 2, but then we also got to take into consideration that a lot of the other teams had major injuries to key players, so maybe that's why Phoenix Suns are so. I'm just saying maybe that's why. I'm just saying maybe that's why.
No, I'm not going against what you're saying. I agree with that, but I was going to go against Frank with the biggest story. The biggest story is the Knicks, bro. You got to understand something. Worst record 2 seasons ago. Like, we went from all garbage. Phoenix Suns was playing ball. They wasn't all garbage. We were trash can, bottom of the trash
We
can.
wasn't even invited to the dance.
You ever see those dudes, the maintenance guy come get the garbage, I pull out the plastic, whatever's on there, on the bottom of there. We were that.
Okay, we can have the same argument because 4 seasons ago, before Devin Booker comes in, they were the worst team in the league. I mean,
But that's still, but that's what I'm saying.
You were that last year.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna say this. And we could go back and forth about the Knicks and the Suns. We go back and forth with the Knicks and Suns. But being that you all from New York and everything else, you guys are sitting there. I'm looking at it from an outside in looking perspective. I'm not a fan of either team, right? That's number one. And number two, I think the biggest story is the Phoenix Suns because they added one player. That's what I'm saying. Now, you could make an argument. I'm not going to disagree with anything you guys say because you could make an argument. But the New York Knicks added a top tier coach. They added some. They had a great rookie class. They made a great trade and they got Julius Randle. They added a couple of pieces. I think it's only the biggest story with the Suns because they added one piece. You know, that's only
last year. We had Julius Randle last year. He's just having to play better this year.
You had Julius Randle coming in, but he also came in with another couple of players. Also, you had a huge head coach come in who came in from Chicago. The coach comes in and makes a couple of other moves. You get Derrick Rose from Chicago. You made a huge trade. I mean, you made a mid-season trade last year. You also got that kid who was number 2 right behind Zion. You had a whole bunch of pieces to the Knicks. So
RJ Barrett.
Yeah, thank you. I'm just saying they both are big stories. I'm not knocking that, but I'm just saying I think the tick could be that Phoenix Suns.
I'm gonna tell you what trumps everything you're saying.
Okay.
What trumps everything you just pointed out. You're talking about the worst team in the whole NBA, not the East, not the West. You take all the teams, and they're the bottom of the whole league. And now look at them. That's the biggest story, bro.
Yeah.
No
star
player. Chris Paul's a star to this league. We don't have a star. Julius is making his light now on his own, but we had no star.
Yeah,
none.
I can't.
The one thing I'd say to add to that, we know that Chris Paul is going to the Hall of Fame. If this kid continues on the trajectory, we know Devin Booker could possibly go to the Hall of Fame. And if this kid continues on his uptick, even DeAndre Ayton could end up going to the Hall of Fame. So we got 3 potential. We got 1 definite and 2 potential Hall of Famers that could possibly come out of Phoenix right now. And listen, Monty Williams as a coach, he ain't no slouch. Monty Williams is a damn good coach. He really good.
If you had a chance to have Monty Williams or Tom Thibodeau, everybody in the league would take Tom Thibodeau hands down. I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying it's to me again.
Okay, look at it like a game of spades. Who got a better hand?
Who got a better hand right now? I would say the Knicks got a better hand.
What? Phoenix?
Yeah,
we got mad possible, son.
Okay, yeah, you do. You do. And that's why I said the better hand goes to Phoenix, but the Knicks got a whole bunch of possibles.
Yeah, well, yeah, listen, man. Hey, put it to you this way. If I was playing spades, number 1, Frank, you could not be my partner because if you think the Knicks got a better hand than Phoenix, you have lost your damn mind. According to playing against the Knicks, Phoenix got the 2 jokers and the deuce of diamonds. They got 3.
Let me ask you this. At the start of the NBA season, right? If you all were to pick which team was going to do better at the end of this season right now, at the start of this season, right? Which team would you have said that would do better? Would you have said the Knicks would do better?
Phoenix.
Or Phoenix? Really?
Phoenix.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, listen.
This is why I would hold on. Let me just answer this question. The reason why I would have said the Knicks would have done better than Phoenix for one reason only, because I would have said, okay, they just hired Tom Thibodeau. I would have said, knowing what I know about Tom Thibodeau, I was okay, the Knicks are going to do a little bit better than the Phoenix. That's what I would have said.
The reason why I would have went the other way is because going into a season, 9 times out of 10, you go off of where you came from. Like Fig said, closing out last season, Phoenix was kicking ass at all levels.
Yes, sir.
So I would have picked Phoenix.
And to tell you the truth, even before they got Chris Paul, I thought they was going to do good because I was a big fan of Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton. I thought that those 2 could be like a potential Kobe and Shaq in the West, man. Those that kid, he dropped over 30 points yesterday. Yo, Devin Booker was completely unstoppable yesterday. And then Chris Paul finished it off.
Yeah, he was. He was. Like I said at the beginning of the year, you know, I don't think anybody saw the Suns coming. The Knicks are probably the biggest surprise. But again, I'm going to say it, and I'm going to close it with this. I just think, in my opinion, everybody has their own opinion. I think that the biggest story that no one's talking about is the Suns. The biggest story that everyone's talking about is the Knicks because of what the Knicks are doing. Nobody saw that coming either.
See, you said that much better. You said that much better.
Right. Absolutely.
We could rock with that. The way you worded that,
right.
We could leave in peace on that. Because I was about to drive to Boston.
You know, we want to drive to Boston. I want no 6'5" Negro coming knocking on my door. Yo, what you talking about my Knicks?
like this. I'm like, is Frank home?
Like, you talking about my Knicks? You talking about my Knicks? All right, y'all. We gotta wrap up the show. Interesting conversation today. We could probably talk about this for a whole week because it's a whole bunch of hypotheticals. But tomorrow we got a guest. I forgot the guy's name, but my man Stacks is bringing on a guest with us tomorrow. He's a former NFL player. We're going to talk about the draft. We have to talk about the draft because the NFL draft is literally in by tomorrow, be 24 hours away. So tell everybody how they can follow you.
Hey, man, follow your boy Talent. Putting it down on Twitter at It's Just Comedy. I'm on IG every day at Talent the Comedian and Facebook King Talent Harris.
Fig.
Yo, man, I'm always here on all social media platforms at Comedian Fig. And Monday through Friday, 1 to 2 p.m., I'm on the box seats. We the best damn sports show on TV. Ask your mama.
All right, y'all. That's the show. My name is Frank. That's Talent. That's Fig. You know the name of the show. The channel's on. It's called Box Seats. We'll see y'all tomorrow, 1 o'clock, y'all. Take care. Same bad time, same bad channel. Peace.